Hey everybody, Jam Creates here. Gonna do a video. I'm back, yes. Finally, Jam has come back to YouTube. It is Wrestlemania Sunday, actually. And I used to be a giant wrestling fan. I really haven't followed wrestling in years now, but when I was a kid, all the way into my 20s and maybe even to my early 30s, I was a giant wrestling fan, like huge. Went to tons of events, met lots of wrestlers, all kinds of stuff. So, I actually even trained and did some wrestling myself. I'm not going to talk about that too much, though. But anyway, first, before I get into this, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being patient. I know I was away for a while. And thank you to everyone who shared kind words. If you don't know, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you probably just wondered what happened. You probably figured I just disappeared from the channel. But I had a death in the family, and it was a real hard time for the whole family. Somebody way too young to passed away. She lost her battle with pancreatic cancer. And so I would just ask you guys, if you have anything extra, please, Lustgarten Foundation, PanCan Foundation, donations to those would be wonderful, because it's a terrible, terrible disease. So anyway, let's get to the fun stuff. Enough of that. I just wanted to thank everybody for the kind words, and if you didn't know, well, now you know. So anyway, when I was a kid, I fancied myself somewhat of a, I guess, a mini Vince McMahon, I guess you would call it. I had multiple wrestling organizations, shall we say. I had, wrestling organizations that I ran with my friends, like in my backyard. I also had an entire wrestling organization that I ran with my action figures, my G.I. Joe figures, my Star Wars figures. Any figure that was basically in that size range was eligible to be in that group. And I did events, and I used to have matches with the figures, and I had like a cardboard box that I built into a wrestling ring, and used to have entire storylines and pay-per-views and the whole 9 yards. And then there was this. The NWF, the National Wrestling Federation, which was my other organization. Now, this one took a little bit of a different approach, because with this one, I actually created an entire roster of wrestlers. Just created. They weren't action figures or anything like that. I just made up a bunch of wrestlers. I mean, a bunch. And I'll show you. We'll share this because I think this is kind of funny. And I did events, and I used to figure out who would win, and the pay-per-views, and all that kind of stuff. So, in honor of today being Wrestlemania Sunday, I figured, what the heck, let's break out, let's break out this old NWF stuff, and I'll give you guys a little show of what was going through a younger Jam Creates' mind when he was super into wrestling. So first of all, some of the wrestlers you'll see were probably based on other things, whether they were influenced by real wrestlers or other stuff, and we'll talk about it. And it's a pretty stereotypical kind of stuff. I mean, let's be honest, it's, the first batch here, we've got the Street Fighter from Queens, New York. His move is the Street Smasher. The GI, who did... So I used to just use, like, regular names of moves sometimes. Like, the Crucifix was just it's basically just a roll-up. It's not really a finisher, but whatever. When you make up this many people, it's kind of tough. The Toronto Terror, Jean Russo. The Snake Charmer, Akbar Abdullah. The Sewer Rat, Rob Stevens, managed by Slick Rick. The Snake Charmer there is managed by Sharkskin Steve Verducci. The Gladiator, obviously from Rome. The Creature, Craig the Destroyer, comes from Mount Olympus. I said Sewer Rat already. The Killer, Jojo Jackson, Ivan Chekhov, because you gotta have Russians, of course. Jim Freight Train Jackson. Some of the places I did were like Stone Mountain, Georgia. I got that, of course, because of Jake the Snake Roberts. That's where he was from. Mr. Ice Mike Snow from Juneau, Alaska. Makes sense. Um, the Japanese dragon Kenji Ishikawa. Yes. I don't want to hear about the stereotypes. All right. Just don't even get into me. I was a little kid. Deal with it. Dynamite Dick Stevens from Glens Falls, New York. He did a Northern Lights suplex as his finisher. This, a bunch of different stuff. Like, obviously there's some clearly stereotypical dudes. Kanchi Khan from Mongolia. I like the jungle fighter, Steve Kirby. That's a weird one. The Bandito, the Phantom. He's pretty cool looking. Little Louis Larson, of course. You go for the, big, heavy dude, 500-pound dude from, and he's called Little, of course. The Mechanic Mike Sampson. The Plague. The Black Death. They're both from parts unknown. I wonder if they live near each other. Jim the Battering Ram Hutton from Long Island, New York. Wearing a Lawrence Taylor jersey. Yes, that's a 56. It's a Lawrence Taylor jersey because I was a big Lawrence Taylor fan as a kid. Octoman. This is a cool mask. I might have to reuse this for something else in the future. That's actually kind of funny. That's pretty cool. The Electrocutioner. Now that name, I got that from the original Metal Gear on the NES. I think it was the first boss of the game was called the Electrocutioner. The Brown Bomber, he was one of the ones who made it from my action figure wrestling to this one. He was my Mr. T action figure, and he was managed by Bombshell Barbara Sinclair, who, by the way, was a Princess Leia action figure. Kaiser Von Helsing, he does a German suplex, of course, makes sense. Davy Jones, not from the Monkees. The Freedom Fighter, Terry the Lasso Straight. This guy, it's pretty obvious where he came from. Macho Joe Slaughter. Okay. Adolf the Blimp Zeppelin from Dusseldorf, Germany. And his finishing move is the Hindenburg. Okay. Okay, now... yes? No? Maybe? I'm not sure. Some of these guys came from... There's a few of these guys who came from... Oh, God, it was a Game Boy. It was HAL Wrestling on the Game Boy. I borrowed some guys from that. Like, I think Death Monster, Joker, Big Crusher, Super Cyber, Kim Riki, and Ryu Misaki. I think they all came. And I think King Samson and Kansuke Yamada, they also came from that game. They were all from HAL Wrestling on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. We got the PI, Mike Sledge, Sam the Bullwhip Johnson, the Mega Machine, Mark Rice, I don't know. The Manslayer, that's a cool one too. That's a pretty good one. I like that one. The Mountain Man, the Slugger from Louisville, Kentucky. The Convict, the Human Skyscraper, the State Trooper, the Executioner, the Exterminator, that's kind of funny, the Serpent, Big Bubba Watson, Chief Tomahawk, that's, the Eliminator, the Mercenary, the Commando, the Headbanger. That's funny, I made a Headbanger before WWE had the Headbangers. Ha! Vince stole from me! Ha ha! Okay, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. The Commando, if you look at this guy closely, you'll notice basically he's Mutt from G.I. Joe. I just, copied his features to draw him. The Cleaver, Joe Diamond, the Slasher, of course, with the hockey mask. Psycho Chic, because, you got to have your Middle Eastern people, of course. The Beach Boy, Harry the Hunk Roberts. Face, take a guess where I got that from. The Prankster, the Bounty Hunter, the Komodo Dragon. I like that, that's cool. The Hurricane, the Shadow. The Heartthrob, John Henderson. The San Diego Stud, Sam Masters. The MP, he's another one who came from a G.I. Joe. Who was the other? Was it Law and Order? Was that their name? Oh, crud. I forgot their name now. He was the other canine one. He was in the movie. He had like a Hispanic accent. I don't remember his name now. I can't remember the G.I. Joe's name, but that's basically where that one came from. The Enforcer, the Cannibal. You don't want to mess with him. The Pitbull. The Richest Man Alive, Quincy Ventura. Take a guess where the inspiration for him came from. Primetime Rick Freeze. Just look at him and tell me who you think he's inspired by. Yeah, okay. The Dingo, the Mysterious Mr. Who, the Bronco Buster Cody Stetson, the Assassin, the Witch Doctor, which was obviously, I'm sure, what is this thing? Picks up on shoulder like a backbreaker and runs him into the turnbuckle. Picks him up on the shoulder like a backbreaker and runs him into the turnbuckle. Okay. The Norseman, obviously inspired by, what's it called? The Berserker. Migraine Mike Phillips. The Cover Boy does a figure 4 leg lock. He's 242 pounds and he's 6 foot. And I didn't fill in where he was from because I guess I didn't want to put Charlotte, North Carolina. Anyway. Hiro Usami, of course, is like the Yokozuna. Then there's tag teams, Air Assault, the Reign of Terror, Chaos and Anarchy, the Dark Riders, Rocky and Rocco, the Arachnids, Tarantula and Scorpion, the Psycho Punks, Blade and Spike, the Death Dealers, Ghoul and Spectre. There's a lot of bad guys. If you look at this page, I'm pretty much thinking Air Assault are the only good guys. Oh, the Wranglers, they're probably good. The Twins, they're probably bad because they're from Beverly Hills. The Sea Snakes, the Bayou Bandits, the Forces of Nature, the Bone Crushers. A couple more tag teams. The Stuntmen, they're probably good. The Arctic Patrol, they're probably good too. Hey, that was before Snow Patrol existed. And by the way, yes, those are both inspired by G.I. Joe action figures. That's Snow Job, and that's the guy who came with that vehicle. I can't even remember his name. The Wolf and the Fox, the Wild Dogs. And then I even went so crazy. Like, I did, like, these are our TV shows. Wrestling Stars, Saturdays at 11. Championship Wrestling, Saturdays at 5 for 2 hours. NWF Main Event, Sundays at 11. NWF Wrestling at Night, Tuesdays at 8 p.m., 2.5 hours. Wow. Interview shows, like, I guess, like Piper's Pit. We got the Spotlight with Hollywood Bill Campbell. Special Interview with John McElroy. The Dungeon with the Count Robert Steele. And the interviews were done in the studio for Wrestling at Night. That's like fancy schmancy stuff right there. Here's like a whole bunch of like possible names. Some other stuff. Always the managers. There's Sharkskin Steve Reducci. It tells you who he manages. Here's Bill Hollywood Campbell and the people he manages. The Count Robert Steele and who he manages. And then here's the best part. Watch this. Now we really go crazy because I did events and I made cards for the events. So we've got Wrestle Madness from the Nassau Coliseum, April 11th at 8 p.m. live only on pay-per-view. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this card. This is classic right here. A knockout match between Sam the Bullwhip Johnson and Terry the Lasso Straight. Look, the steel cage match with the Convict and the State Trooper. Tag team titles, the Twins versus Air Assault. The Electrocutioner and the Gladiator for the Intercontinental title. Psycho Sheik versus King Samson for the world title. Then we've got some other just regular card matches. Tag team match. Oh, look at this. Guest stars. Singing the national anthem, Paula Abdul. The guest ring announcer, Michael Buffer. Guest commentator, Bob Costas. And the guest timekeeper is Kathy Ireland. Wow. That's impressive. And then here's the results if you're curious. King Samson won the title. The Electrocutioner held on to his belt. Air Assault won the tag team titles. And you can look at the rest of that. That's the card right there. And it's funny because, like, I just went nuts with this stuff. Like, I had another event called Tag Team Terror. This is from the LA Sports Arena on August 22nd. 32 men, 16 teams, friends with foes, Friends versus Friends, the ultimate tag team battle. That's what it was. Like with this one, everyone went in as just a name, and then you were chosen to have a partner just at random. So you didn't know who your partner was going to be. So you could be teamed up with absolutely anybody. So you could have, tag teams would be split apart. And the eventual winners, here's the whole tournament results right here. The eventual winners were Tim Masters, Jim the Human Battering Ram Hutton, and the PI Mike Sledge. They won. Where's the PI? There's the PI Mike Sledge, and the Human Battering Ram in his Lawrence Taylor jersey still. And then, like, I literally would, like, pick the stuff at and figure this stuff out. Like, I was figuring out storylines and everything. November 21st, Slam Fest from Legion Field. I don't even know where that is. King Samson defending the title against the Plague. Intercontinental title, the Electrocutioner versus Dynamite Dick Stevens. Tag Team Champions, Air Assault defending against the Sea Snakes. You got all these other ones. Another tag match right there. Some more matches. There's 14 matches on this card. Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama will explode when the National Wrestling Federation presents Slam Fest. And here's the results. King Samson won. Dynamite Dick Stevens was the new champ. He won. Air Assault kept their titles. In case you're curious about the referees, the commentators, everything. Wow. Oh, and this is Elimination Showdown, which was another event I was going to do with 2 rings. It was like a battle royal stuff. Oh, look at this. Here's some promotional material for Wrestle Madness. Completely. Oh, this is the videotape. This is the cover of the videotape for Wrestle Madness. King Samson versus the Psycho Sheik. Completely uncut. Every exciting match. That's funny. I made a VHS tape cover. That's hysterical. And this right here, this craziness, was how I crowned my first Intercontinental Champion. Was with this NWF Intercontinental Title Tournament held on August 28th, 1991. Look at, like, all the people involved in this tournament. This thing would have been, like, ridiculous to do in real life. Like, this is huge. And eventually, that was the one where Electrocutioner won the Intercontinental title. Oh, here's... See, I guess I went a little less... Or this was just... I never got to drawing this one. This was Wrestle Madness 2. Look at that. Beans, stop. That's my dog, Beans. You guys know him well. You're familiar with him if you follow the channel. Yeah, so that was going to be Wrestle Madness 2. I guess that never happened. I'm not sure. And look at this. Oh, my goodness. NWF Magazine, issue number 1. Tag Team Terror complete results. Profile of Air Assault. In-depth interview with Sam Masters. The official magazine of the NWF. I can't believe I did all this. I was, like, insane. Look at that. I'm like nuts. Look, here's a welcome letter, like, welcoming you to the first one. Here's electric... Oh, look at that. Here's a whole thing about Dynamite Dick Stevens and his feud with the Electrocutioner. Here's an interview. I actually wrote out an entire interview with one of my fictional wrestlers. I think I'm a little insane. Here's the full results of Tag Team Terror. The entire results. And look at these action photos and everything. Look at that. Wham! Big uppercut. And here's highlights. Oh, look, you can read about what happened in the event. Oh my gosh. Swamp Snake's manager, Sharkskin Steve Reducci, paid the bounty hunter to help beat his own partner, the Swamp Rat. So the Swamp Snake escaped the Swamp Rat's revenge and advanced to round 2. Despite differences, John Douglas and Kenji Ishikawa made a terrific team. Rob Stevens was poking eyes, pulling tights, and breaking just about every rule in the book, until his partner, Mike Baker, got tired of seeing his friends being cheated by his partner. So Baker and Stevens started arguing until Stevens slapped Baker. So Baker nailed Stevens and Jim Hutton rolled him up for a 3 count. Oh my gosh. Oh, look, and here's highlights from round 2. Oh my goodness gracious me. I might have to, like, good Lord, I may have to, like, scan this all and post it somewhere. If maybe I'll put it on, like, my Instagram, or I'll put it on Twitter if anyone is actually interested in reading all of this nonsense. That's so fun. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then, yes, I made, look, history of the world champions, going all the way back to 1959 up to 1992. Wow. Intercontinental title from 1960 all the way to 1992. Tag team titles from 1961 all the way to 1992. That's so funny, man. And this is the history of the National Wrestling Federation. So I literally sat down and wrote an entire history going all the way back to 1959, and probably getting all the way, let's see, I'm curious to see how much I wrote. I wrote a lot. Holy smokes. Look at this, 2 pages, front and back. We're up to 1970 now. 73, whoop, wind. 1990. So did we get all the way up to? Yeah, I think we get all the way up. Yeah, we get all the way up to 1992. Wow. That's crazy. Oh my God. I can't even believe I did that. The entire history from 1958. It was founded in 1958 to 1992. That is insane. Holy crow, I can't believe I did that. That, like, I'm, like, in shock of myself now. Like honestly. I am, like, stunned by my own, like, by the depths of my own insanity here. So anyway, if you're gonna watch WrestleMania, I hope you enjoy it. I'm probably not gonna watch it because I haven't watched anything wrestling related in years and years and years. But, hey, you know what? I mean, when you like something, you get into it. And this is what this is. I loved wrestling. Loved it. Wrestling was one of my favorite things in the world when I was a kid. And so I poured my heart and soul into making my own wrestling promotion and doing this whole thing. So, you know what? It just shows you when you have, and you saw all that writing, like, that was insane. Like, that took a long time. I was still in school at the time, and I took time to write all that, and it wasn't even for a school assignment. Like, so clearly I loved wrestling. So anyway, if you want to see me post some of that stuff, or maybe even just, like, scan and post, like, all this stuff, like, I'll be happy to do it. Like, you know, post the photos and stuff. You know, if you guys want to check it out, that'd be fun. I'll definitely do it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see me post, like, the history of the NWF, and if you want to see me post, like, the magazine and all that, you know, and all these, like, the cards and maybe even the whole rosters and everything. Let me know. I'll do it. I don't care. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're going to watch WrestleMania tonight, have fun. Do something that I used to do with my friends. I used to make prediction cards for everybody who was going to come watch the pay-per-view at the house. We used to make, I make like a whole card. I would use Photoshop to put the photos and everything, and put the names and all that stuff. And we would all choose, we would do our picks. And then at the end of the night, we would see who got the most picks correct. It's fun. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for ring the bell for notifications. And, you know, follow me on Twitter. I'm at jam_creates. I'm also at jam_creates on Instagram. I'm all over the place. Definitely check it out. And I will talk to you guys soon. I'm happy to be back. And again, thanks everybody for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. My family appreciates it. And I will talk to you guys soon. And peace out.